Hi all, welcome back to the Red Bird Shed. Hope everybody's well. Not too much happening within the shed. My breeding season finished now 3 or 4 weeks ago, and as you can see, all the young now are in a flight cage, colouring up nicely. Been a bit of feather plucking going on, especially with the few birds that were in the second round. 1 or 2 of them are not taking the molt as well as the others. That's usually the case. But you can see there's some nice red markings coming through. There's a few variegated. There's quite a number of ivory in there. We've got good white feathers. The wing feathers and the tail feathers are nice and white, which is what I was trying to achieve this year by changing the diet through not putting any food when they're in the nest with green, which contained yellow or green. So yeah, they're looking quite nice, quite good. I think there's 15 in total, which is about what I normally breed, to be honest, out of the pairs I've got. And even though I have this only, not that many in numbers, I still, by the end of the breeding season, I've had enough. Trying to make things life easy now. As holidays coming up, people are going to be looking after them for me, and I try to cut back on the work. So this year, I've gone back to putting the carafel in the water. For a number of years I've been putting it in the soft food. This year, because there was quite a few birds that weren't eating the soft food and they didn't colour up very well, they were in patchy or hardly colour at all, so I've gone back to putting it in the water, which is okay because these Dave Rand's cages clean off really well. It's not like my old painted cages that once it was stained with the carafel you couldn't get it off. These clean off really well. And I've been putting some dumpy drinkers in as well, which they don't flick it about so much because they try and bath in there. Even though they're having baths, they still like to try and flick the water everywhere. So what have we done? Right, what have we done? There's a mule. I've sold one of my mules, so I've only now got the goldfinch mule. The red pole mule has moved on. I've sold 3 of me cockbirds, so it just leaves these now. I've got an intensive there, a non-intensive. These are better quality birds. This is a real monster of a bird, done well this year. I've got variegated there, lightly ticked intensive there, and a non-intensive variegated there. I'll be keeping these through the winter hopefully, to see, probably use them again next year, depending on how these are with cocks and hens. I obviously will keep probably 1 or 2 of the better birds. Once they're molted out, I'll be able to tell. And then down at the bottom are the hens. I've actually got rid of 6 hens in the last week or so. So I'm down to the hens, which I think are the best ones I had. And most of these, well, some of these have all bred for me this year. Apart from this old one down there. I didn't want to sell that one because she's not, she just sits on the floor. She's lost some of her feathers. Been molting out throughout the year. She just sits quietly, not doing anybody any harm, so just leave her to herself. I think as soon as the cold weather comes, we'll probably lose her, but that's bird keeping for you. So yeah, they're the hens I'm going to hang on to, and then obviously if I get some decent hens out of there, out of the young, I'll be hanging on to 1 or 2 of these as well. Most of them are, some of the hens now are going into the molt, others are a bit behind. There's feathers everywhere, mainly from the young. The cockbirds have not gone into the multi-tool yet, not dropping any feathers. In fact, they're singing like mad. And they're actually, the variegated, small variegated hen down there, she's been laying eggs in the seed, in the egg drawers. So she's still wanting to go down, but obviously way too late in the season. There's one of these, one of the young birds has got a drop wing. I think it's that one down at the back. I don't know if you can see it. See how the wing, that one there, the wing is unnatural in the way it's laid. It's coming across its back. So obviously be alright for somebody if it's a pet or in an aviary, or you could use it as a feeder, but I don't know if it's something that's happened in the nest or it's something through the breeding, but obviously you don't want to try and breed anything like that into next year's birds. Some of these have, as I say, have been the first year birds, the first round birds have attacked some of the smaller ones that went in there. Probably should have kept them separate. See that one there is coloured up really well. That's the one that was heavily plucked, and that comes out of an ivory and a non-intensive. So it was an intensive ivory and a non-intensive bird, cock bird, and it's got lovely white wings. I mean, because it was so heavily plucked, you can see that wing feathers had lost and they've come back red. So obviously it's not in show, it's condition, but you can see by the colour which is coming on that bird, it's going to be a decent bird maybe to use next year if it's a cock or even if it's a hen. So yeah, really pleased with what we got. As I say, you can see, look at the scruffy tail where that's one of the second round birds. It's been, tail's been pulled, the feathers, it was bleeding actually, it had been attacked that hard. Trouble is when you've not got I've got one or two spare cages now, so I might separate some into other cages, because they will pluck each other, even though that's almost 15 in that flight. It probably needs to be bigger, but I'll say I might have to split some of them up just to save them being plucked. But still try and bath in the water. But there you go. Even though I've moved these dumpy pots up in the air a bit, try to stop them doing it a little bit. Just shove them up. If we can't get to it so much, you'd have to go on to reach into it. They don't flick it up so much. So yeah, that's it for now. See, one or two of them are a little bit feeling sorry for themselves. These are the later birds. These two are, both these two, ivory, but you can see they've been attacked by the others. Probably should have put them separately. Oh well, we'll see how they go. So see, everybody else is now coming to the end of their season. There's been reports, some people have had good seasons, some people have had really poor. I don't know. I say I'm quite happy with these. I've got enough. I've got some spare cages now to move birds around, and I say I'll be letting a lot of these go probably near Christmas or early New Year. I want to keep about 5 or 6 pairs maximum for next year. See, look, still singing away. So yeah, that's it for now. I'll make another video in the next few weeks, or when I've got anything else to report. So, all right, so it's bye for now.